I've been a freelancer since 2019, so today I'm going to pretend we are two friends out to coffee and you are asking me, how do I get into freelancing? This is exactly what I would tell you if it was just you and I, friend to friend, and I was explaining this from start to finish. So I transitioned out of my 9 to 5 sales career to become a full-time freelance writer. The reason I was able to do it was obviously the writing skill that I developed as an English major. Even though I had never been paid to professionally write, I had the skill because I would take fiction workshops on the weekend. I'm an avid journaler. I have a million short stories and novels unfinished in my Google Doc. So I knew I loved writing, but I never thought anyone would pay me to do that. When I finally became self-employed, I realized that the way I had done it was a little bit different than the standard advice that was given online, mainly because I have a sales background. So it was very easy for me to understand the concept of cold pitching and getting my foot in the door with clients to get paid quickly versus the approach that other freelancers take by going on freelance websites or not really even knowing how to ask for the business. So after I had been full-time freelancing for a while, people asked me how I had made that transition. I developed something called the 5-step freedom framework that helps basically anyone go from either unemployed, working their 9 to 5, to offering services full-time for a living. Real quick, if you're finding this information helpful and you're serious about landing higher paying clients and reaching your freelance income goals, my signature program, 30 Days to Paid, is now available as a live group coaching cohort. 30 Days to Paid is a 5-step framework that helps you create your online presence, land high paying clients, and build a sustainable freelance business. It's a self-paced course, but in 2025, I'm going to be offering a done with you cohort, coaching sessions, accountability, helping you stay on track, and personalized feedback that allows you to land those higher paying clients faster. You'll also be in a cohort with a group of supportive freelancers who have the exact same goals and can offer you that support, so you are not in this alone. The next cohort is starting soon. Click the link down below in the description to join the waitlist to know when enrollment opens. There's only going to be 20 spots available, so if you're ready to take action, do not hesitate. Click that link below. Now, the people that I work closely with are typically freelance writers, but this freedom framework can actually apply to social media management, graphic design, any type of knowledge-based service, typically in the marketing realm, that allows someone to take a skill that you can learn online for free and offer it to somebody for pay. If you follow this framework, you can make a full-time living, self-employed, offering your services, no boss, no commute. Not saying it's easy, not trying to sell you a dream, but just to show you that this is possible. Whether you want to create a side hustle, maybe you want to work part-time hours and make a full-time living, or you want to go all in like I did and really get into the online world. Personally, I make part of my income from offering freelance writing services one-to-one with clients, but I also sell digital products. My course is called 30 Days to Paid, where I teach my 5-step freedom framework to my students in a community. And I also offer one-to-one coaching services for people who want to book strategy calls with me and, pick my brain and get that personalized guidance based on their situation, right? So my full-time income comes from those two main sources, but regardless, I am self-employed. Okay, so if you're starting from scratch, the first step, which a lot of people skip, is understanding why somebody would want to hire you in the first place. Most people don't understand how a business works. So what they'll do is they'll get hyper fixated on the actual craft, right? The skill. They'll say, I know how to do keyword research. I know how to do graphic design. I know how to do photography. I know how to do personal styling, content writing, whatever, but not understanding fully what makes somebody want to pay you to do that work. That's really the difference between the people that get stuck in the starving artist mode or the hobby phase versus the people who are actually making a living doing what they love to do. So don't just focus on the thing that you're selling, focus on who you're selling it to, gain an understanding of why they're pursuing these services to begin with, what goal is it helping them meet, and why they need what you sell to begin with. I know that sounds like a really random weird place to start, but after coaching hundreds of freelancers, something that stops them up so early on is that they're like, okay, yeah, I know I want to write for a living and I know I want to, build a website and get this started. I want to jump in, but why would anyone hire me? And it's like, when you understand kind of business basics, you don't have to have an MBA. I didn't. I was an English major in school, typical liberal arts major, but something I did gain in sales was understanding how a business makes money and understanding how to persuade and sell to people, which required me to understand people's ultimate goals and bottom lines. If you understand sales and marketing, you'll understand how to properly sell your services, but it all starts with understanding who you're selling to, their psychology, and what they're looking for. Then you're going to decide what you want to offer and to who. So many people on this channel are going to want to offer copywriting, content writing, web design, graphic design, maybe legal services, contracts. Maybe you're starting an agency. There's two parts to this. Number one is deciding what the service is, but the second part of that is what makes your service and what makes you unique. In marketing, we call this a unique selling proposition. So I'll just give you a very basic example, but me as a copywriter, I am one of thousands upon thousands of freelance copywriters offering copywriting services. But one way that I distinguish myself, that I differentiate myself and share my uniqueness, which makes me stand out, is that I write in one specific niche. So I have clients that all fall into this software as a service category. And how I was able to get my foot in the door before I had that experience, right? Because I had to start somewhere. Someone had to give me a chance. I had never written professionally before. I had no portfolio. So the way that I got my foot in the door was explaining what made me unique. And that was that I had the knowledge of using software in my sales job. So when software companies went to hire me to write for them, I could say, hey, I've used your tools. I have a really good understanding of these tools. So understanding what makes you unique, your unique value proposition or unique selling proposition will be really key to help you stand out. It's more needed than ever today in this AI saturated marketplace. Your clients need to understand not only what you offer, but why what you offer is different, why they should choose you instead of the alternative, or why they should choose you versus an AI tool. Now, before we get into the types of freelancing that are most profitable, I do want to acknowledge the AI concerns that you might have, because if you have this lurking in the back of your mind, I don't think anything else I say in this video is going to matter, right? So first and foremost, AI is making its mark in every industry in the digital marketing realm. So around 2021, maybe people were just saying it was going to replace copywriters and content writers, but as other tools in terms of like Midjourney or maybe Canva or other AI tools spring on the scene for every type of function, there's always going to be people who are saying, well, I just don't think I can compete. I don't think this is a worthwhile, I don't want to hitch my wagon to this dying field. Well, first of all, if you haven't watched the first video in this series, I do talk about how I see AI shifting the marketing space in 2025 and how it'll impact freelancers and how you can make yourself still irreplaceable despite the fact that these tools are here to stay. But the big thing you need to understand is that human expertise and personal experiences always going to be essential to guide those tools, at least for the foreseeable future. So I don't want you to get psyched out or give up before you even give yourself a chance. If you want to be self-employed and live a life that is not dependent on your location, where you can go anywhere, where you can balance family life and work from home and just have those slow mornings, which to me is the ultimate luxury, I want you to understand that AI is just a tool that's going to help people do things faster versus, oh, it's not worth it because these tools exist. There are so many services that you can offer to become a self-employed service-based provider, but I'll just give you prime examples. There's freelance software development, freelance copywriting, and freelance video editing. So as you can tell, the trend is that they all fall into the digital marketing space. If you want to see what type of freelance service you could potentially offer, why don't you just go into ChatGPT and ask, hey, in the realm of digital marketing, what freelance services could I offer? And then take it a step further and say, here's what I'm interested in. Here's what I've done in the past. Here's my prior job experiences. What freelance services do you think would be the best fit for me? So I guide my students on this in my course, 30 Days to Paid. Spending time on how to find your niche and then position yourself within that niche is one of the biggest places where freelancers need help. It's where I spend a lot of time coaching students, but doing that research via ChatGPT is a free way for you to get clear on that. Next, you're going to want to open up your online storefront. In other words, you're going to want a website. Before you get hung up on, oh, do I need a website? Which website? Just think of it this way. There needs to be a place that lives on the internet where if you grab someone's attention or somebody finds you online, they need to be able to navigate to your home base find out what they need to know and contact you. That's not always going to happen via social media. So you do need your own digital storefront that explains who you are, that is tailored to your ideal client, that clearly demonstrates and communicates the service that you offer and unblocks any objections or hesitations that a client might have in doing business with you and hiring you. Because this is a trust game, because we are wanting to go from virtual strangers to having someone pay us thousands of dollars, it would only make sense that you would have a website the way any reputable business does, meaning you own your own domain. This has gotten so much easier than when I started in 2019. I have demos on how to create a website and portfolio using tools like Gamma or Canva. I'm going to throw on the screen what my website looked like when I first started, just so you can understand that this doesn't need to be anything super aesthetically pleasing. The main goal is conversion. Does the person know what you do within a few seconds? Can they look at your portfolio? Can they contact you? And is it clearly laid out so that the end goal is achieved, which is them contacting you? All you need for this is a website builder and a website host. And there are solutions like Square or Showit that actually do that all in one. So it's easier than ever. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I craft portfolio or get proof of work I've done if I'm brand new and don't have that experience yet? You don't have to have quote unquote real published samples in order to build your own portfolio of work. What you're going to do is create your portfolio on spec. And spec work is basically projects that you assign yourself and then you display it on your website to prove your skill, to demonstrate to the client that you have the skill. It might not be as compelling as you saying, hey, I've worked for this client and here's what I produced for them. But if they can see that you're able to do the skill well and it aligns with their business, they will give you a chance. That's how the majority of freelancers get their start, other than working for free and doing unpaid projects. My videos on how to create a portfolio, even if you have no experience, are my highest viewed videos on this channel. So I will link those above so you can take a look at those. The next thing you'll have to do is get clear on your offer, your pricing, and your packages. So offer just means like, what are you going to actually be selling? It's not as simple as just saying, I offer copywriting. What type of copywriting? Do you offer any additional services? In my 2025 shifts video, I explained that skill stacking is really key in 2025 when it comes to positioning yourself competitively and actually justifying charging high rates. So as a content writer or a copywriter, saying that you have SEO skills, that you have web design skills, email list management skills, these are all part of your offer. Then it comes to how you package that offer, right? So packaging is basically how you put that offer together in a way that raises its perceived value. So if you have ever worked with a photographer, maybe you see that they have different packages. Maybe you could hire that photographer for 4 hours and then you get 200 photos. And then they have a mid-price package where you get 6 hours of shooting and then they'll do a gallery and they'll create a social media reel for you. As the customer goes down the page and sees what is included in each offer, they're able to equate whether your pricing actually aligns with the value they'd be getting from that offer. And then obviously pricing, right? So this is something I spend a lot of time with freelancers on because it is so tricky and so dependent on all these different factors. I have a video on how to calculate your rates, but every industry has industry standard pricing. You need to find out what that is. I know for content writing and copywriting, we have the AWA industry pricing guide to give us a gauge. But if you're in social media marketing or if you're in legal services, that hourly rate, you can kind of get a sense for what other people are charging if you talk to your peers or look at industry reports, salary reports, and see what you can get, right? Pricing is one of those really important things you can't skip when you go and think about offering freelance services, because the trap that most people get stuck in is that they're charging too little and it doesn't allow them to scale and become a sustainable business. Because if you're offering a service for $25 that takes you 3 to 4 hours to complete, it's just simply not scalable. So getting the pricing right is really important as like a first step, which is counterintuitive because you might be saying, well, I'm not experienced, like how am I going to charge this much? But you have to have that figured out to ensure that this is actually something you can do and that you're not going to burn out and give up. And I save the most important for last, which is you have to choose your client acquisition method. Again, this is something that because freelancers tend to be so fixated on the service that they are offering, they don't think about their bottom line. How are you actually going to find people that pay you for these services? What is your client acquisition method going to be? Some of the most common ones are job boards, online freelance freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. Referrals and word of mouth are huge for freelancers. SEO and content marketing, right? Maybe you have a Google listing and you come up first for photographers in your area. That's kind of like a local SEO. Or if you're a graphic designer and you're publishing blogs on design on your website, that could generate traffic to your site and then convert to an inbound lead. You could do social media marketing. So if people find your content online and want to do business with you, maybe they'll send you a DM. And then finally, best for last, cold outreach. That is the fastest way to go from unemployed or zero to landing your first high paying freelance client. So in my next video, I'm going to explain to you why cold outreach is the fastest way to land that first client that's paying you $1,000 to $3,000 per month. I want you to watch that next video to ensure that whatever method you choose, it's going to be what works today. I am going to explain to you how to make your pitch stand out, and I'm actually going to share with you a DM I got from a freelancer who used my pitch template to land a $3,000 client, so don't miss that video.